you're probably at the highest of the peak when it comes to PTing.
Yeah.
The CEO of the Mac.
Yeah.
But he's got access to all the top trainers of the world.
Right.
And he's chosen you. You've worked with Conor McGregor. You've worked with celebrities.
Yeah.
You've worked with NFL players.
Yeah. Sunday, chilling on my couch, get a call. Been following you on Instagram, love what you're doing. A few sessions in, he reached out to the guy that connected and was like, hey, do you think Zach would be interested in moving to Dubai? I've heard a lot of stories from my mentors, and they say sometimes your best opportunities just come out of nowhere. Steady hands, sudden blessing. Steady hands, so you're putting in the work, you're refining your craft, you're getting better, and then boom, just like that, sudden blessing. Any good leader knows how to follow at times. When I'm training people, it's a lot deeper. But I also say the cherry on top is that you're gonna look great after this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's the cherry on top.
Yeah. I'm excited for people that watch this podcast.
Yeah.
So without further ado, I'm Radin Jerome. Wherever you are in your life or wherever you're going, whether financially, spiritually, or for your health, I hope you're on your way. Now let's get into it.
Zach.
My brother.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course, bro. This is a sick ride you got going on too. I've never seen an idea like this, a podcast in a whip.
It's gotta be different.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Listen, I trained with you yesterday, and how
you feeling, by the way?
I'm walking bad. I'm walking bad.
Yeah.
I'm walking real bad, and somebody's got to take responsibility for this, man. I'm expecting an apology.
Oh man,
you know what I mean? I'm in pain.
I always tell my clients, hate me then, love me later. So you're gonna hate me for a little while longer.
Yeah.
But a couple days, you're gonna call me or message me like, man, I love you. Let me take you to dinner. Let me do something. This is the best I've felt in a long time.
Man, this morning I woke up and just walking hurt, sitting down hurt, everything, and I just it was crazy. It was a full body workout.
Full body.
I think it was
first legs in a minute, right?
Yeah. Ever.
Yeah, first legs ever.
I think it was an hour and a half workout we did.
Yep.
And I was kind of getting cheeky with it a little bit. I was trying to start conversation, so I had a bit more break.
That's why I was like, I know you're a podcaster because you got me distracted, giving you like 2-3 minute breaks when I normally am like a minute.
Yeah.
You're good at what you do.
Yeah. You're very good at what you do.
Appreciate it, brother.
I've had PTs before, and the way you train is so different. Yeah. I feel like every exercise that I do, my core is activated. You know, and I mean, obviously, you've worked with Conor McGregor. You've worked with celebrities.
Yeah.
You work with NFL players.
Yeah.
You're an aspiring NFL player.
Yes.
So obviously you're probably at the highest of the peak when it comes to PTing.
Yeah.
Right. Where did you learn all that?
So was an athlete my entire life. So throughout those years, just learning from some of the best trainers. You know, starting out with my dad, growing up, getting me right, in the backyard, and then just constantly graduating to the next level. In high school, learned from, he's like family to me now, but at the time was my trainer. He was kind of ahead of the curve of what he was teaching. So that was kind of my first introduction to really understanding training and the body. And, at the time I was still an athlete, but I was always fascinated by like the type of training we were doing. I was a workhorse. I'd be in football practice, and then after practice go train with this trainer, until my dad would come pick me up at 6 or 7, So school all day, football practice or basketball practice, and then I'd go train with him in just a little warehouse, and we would just get after it. But the training was a lot different than what a lot of people were doing at the time. And then from there, got a Division I scholarship, and was able to learn from some of the best strength and conditioning coaches. Because I don't know if you're familiar with like Division I is college football highest level, so obviously the highest level of coaching as well. So just picked up a lot of knowledge there. And then when I pursued the NFL, I was in a super blessed position to train with the head director of research for Nike.
Wow.
So that's the pinnacle of what we do, Ryan Flaherty. So while I was training, I was just super fascinated with what he was teaching us. Those things that I haven't really heard or learned before, and just a different outlook on training. And from there, he really actually became my mentor in training and just in life. And then, you know, working with him, people like Les Spellman, one of the best speed coaches in the world as well. Just a lot of different knowledge, a lot of different people. And then going into the fitness industry, just different, you know, bodybuilders, fitness influencers, just learning all these different things. And what I kind of did was just put it all into a nutshell and put my little spin and twist onto it. And yeah, so it was just a lot of really good information. I always tell people, like, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm really not. It's just I've been blessed to be in the position to learn from some of the best in the world, and then kind of put my twist. And I think the fact that I was an athlete, in addition to having the knowledge, is where kind of the blend meets.
It was just such a, like, you know, I've had PTs before, and, you know, I find that when they were training you, it's as if they're training you for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And the way you were training me, it's as if you were training me to be a soldier, an athlete.
Yes.
You know, in every field, like all the stabilizer muscles. You said you don't use the Smith machine, you don't use the bench press.
Right.
You're right, because it's just such a fixated motion.
Right.
Where you're not really using the stabilizer machines, stabilizer muscles that you would do when you're with the dumbbells.
Right.
So that was very refreshing for me, you know, because I mean, you get injury like that.
100%. The whole idea is we're training for life, right? When you walk out of that training session, I want you feeling good for the day. I want you to feel boosted. I don't want you feeling broken down and loading all this weight onto your spine and onto your joints. I want every day to come in fresh, feeling good, feeling ready to work, but also getting a really good workout.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways to manipulate the body and exhaust the muscle without loading the weight. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Who's more fit, an NFL player or Conor McGregor?
I would say, so it's two different types. You know, like a football player, NFL player is a lot more explosive, a lot more athletic, a lot stronger. But as far as fitness overall, I would take, you know, Conor McGregor or any MMA fighter.
Wow.
Just when you put it all in a nutshell, the strength, the conditioning. Yeah, I think MMA fighters are some of the most fit in the world.
Wow.
And it's cool because I've had a lot of MMA fighters, like a good friend of mine, Marvin Vittori, who's, I think he's the number 5 fighter in the world right now. When he has training camps, he brings me in just to help him with his conditioning. Because not only do I train people and whatnot, but I practice what I preach. And myself am very, very fit as well, you know, which is, I feel like you either have one or the other. You either have trainers that are like really knowledgeable and know what they're talking about and kind of let themselves go and are not in, you know, the best of shape, or they just kind of have popcorn muscles, what I like to call it. Or you have, you know, athletes that are trying to become trainers but don't know how to relay the message or relay what they know to their clients.
What was working with Conor McGregor like?
So yeah, I was always a huge Conor McGregor fan. He kind of came along in a time where I really needed help with the mindset of believing in yourself, the work ethic. It was right around my senior year of high school. I actually just got injured, so I missed my whole senior year of football. So it messed up all my recruiting. You know, all the schools that were talking to me to come play with them stopped contacting me. So I was really left with nothing. I remember even my high school coach was like, you know, it might be time to hang up the cleats. And I was just like, I didn't believe that in my heart. You know, I still knew I had plenty of ball left to play, and my dream was always to play Division I football. So right around that time, Conor McGregor came along. I think it was right around 2013. And I just started watching his videos. And I wasn't even a fight fan. I was just a fan of his mindset. So I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm watching his interviews. I'm watching how he's speaking. I'm watching where he's came from, you know, Ireland, you know, being a starting off as a plumber, you know, to being a world champ and what it took to get there, and when nobody was believing in him. So at that time, I started really adopting that mindset and, you know, putting in the work, but also having the belief in myself and not listening to the external noise and really just having that true internal belief. And then from there, you know, it was a journey, but I eventually got a Division I scholarship. And so it's a little deeper as far as why I'm a fan of Conor. But full circle, what would that be, 5-6 years later, I got into the fitness industry, and his team actually reached out to me through Instagram, said, hey, you want to come do, you know, work on his app, shoot videos, you know. And I was like, yeah, 100%. And at the time, I didn't even know I was going to work with him personally. And then once I got there, they're like, oh, Conor's going to be here tomorrow. We're going to shoot all day. And I was like, man, that's crazy. It's full circle. And then when he came onto the set, very, very humble dude, you know, not at all what they kind of make him out into the media. Very respectful, but also definitely had a presence to him. You know, it's crazy how much you could learn in one day from an individual like that. Just how, you know, he demands the room, his work ethic, very professional. Yeah, it was a great experience, but very humble and you know, spoke kind words to everybody. And it also made me realize he kind of got humanized in my eyes in a way where he would mess up or something, and then he'd be like, oh, my bad, like, sorry, let me do that again, you know? And that made me think, like, okay, if he accomplished all these things, that means that any of us could accomplish these things. You know, he's human just like any of us.
Yeah.
You know, he messes up, but it's how you respond to messing up. And that was kind of what I've learned. And he gave me just good advice. You know, one of the biggest things he said was, you know, find your passion and then learn how to make a lot of money doing it.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's what he said. So it was, it was a super cool experience.
You're probably one of the only people in the world who've heard him apologize.
Yeah, no, honestly,
you know what I mean?
It was like continuous too. Like he wanted to get everything right. So he took directions really well, which is a lesson within itself. You know, it's like any good leader knows how to follow at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people get that confused. It's like, you know, leaders think they just always got to be in charge and always be in, but it's like there is times where you need to fall back and follow, and I saw that as well, you know.
So you don't just train athletes and fighters and celebrities.
Yeah.
You also do high net worth individuals.
Yeah.
I want to move into, how did you end up coming to Dubai? What's the story behind that?
So that is actually a crazy, not a crazy story, but it's very, it's a funny story.
Yeah.
It's actually...
Because you came here from LA.
Yeah.
All your life you've been to LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a little background before I dive into that story.
Yeah.
So this whole past year, I was feeling this urge that I feel like God was giving me, like my time in LA was kind of gone, like done. You know, that chapter was ending. But my mentors were telling me, okay, that may be true, but be patient. You know, the right opportunity will come along if it's meant to be. And I remember a conversation I had with one of my mentors. He's like a big brother to me, Franco, who's also one of the best tattoo artists in the world. He said, you know, your time may be done, and you might end up in a place like Miami, or you may end up in a place like Dubai, you know, just joking around.
Yeah.
Like it was such a far-fetched idea. And he's like, you just never know where God's going to take you. And I was like, yeah, I kind of laughed it off. And, you know, that was our last conversation about that. And then lo and behold, I think it was like 2 months later, his mentee as well, who's like a big music producer, which I only met one time. And I actually met him when I was went to a studio with The Game.
Wow.
Yeah, where she was helping produce and whatnot. So met him there, and I think actually one other time we went on like a hike.
Sure.
But not super close or anything. But he follows me on Instagram. You know, we keep up with each other there. And literally it was just one day, Sunday, chilling on my couch, get a call, like, hey brother, you know, got your number from Franco. Been following you on Instagram, love what you're doing, your training style, your workouts. My peoples are coming from Dubai, and they're very serious about, you know, their fitness and training. And I said, you're the perfect guy. And I'm like, cool, let's do it. You know, I'm thinking, he's like, that he wants to train 6 days out of the week, 2 hours a day. I'm thinking it's like, it's going to be a great month. You know, that's all I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, extra client, 6 days a week, 2 hours a day. Let's do it. And that was around July, early July. And then, so I trained him, and a few sessions in, he reached out to the guy that connected and was like, hey, loving the sessions, you know, do you think Zach would be interested in moving to Dubai? And you know, the guy said, his name's Chance, he's like, if it makes sense, like, yeah, I'm sure he would, you know, I'll talk to him. Lo and behold, we trained for the rest of the month, and he offered me a position, and it was a great offer, and it was kind of what I wanted to do anyways. And so yeah, I just took a leap, and it all happened within a month. And it kind of reminds me, I've heard a lot of stories from my mentors, and they say sometimes your best opportunities just come out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And I have a favorite saying, and it's steady hands, sudden blessing from God, right? Steady hands, so you're putting in the work, you're refining your craft, you're getting better, and then boom, just like that, sudden blessing. And it's nothing that you could ever plan for. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't prepare and perfect my craft and become this trainer to hopefully one day have a family come to Dubai or come from to Dubai to LA to recruit me out to Dubai. You know, that wasn't what I even had in mind. But yeah, I just hold on to that. Steady hands, sudden blessing, and that's where faith comes in, and just trust and constantly putting your head down, putting in the work. You know, my dad used to always tell me, putting in the work is like putting a nickel in the piggy bank every day. You know, you just put it in, you put it in, you put it in. Before you know it, you're going to lift your head up, crack open that piggy bank, and you're going to have, you know, what you want.
Well, you know, they say, like, luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
Exactly.
You know, so you were prepared, ready to go. You know, you didn't go, oh, I'm busy, you know what I mean? I've got enough clients.
And you know, the crazy thing about it is, and this is how I know it's such a God moment, is I have another client that was on tour with Maroon 5. Yeah. His name's Gunner. And I was supposed to be out there with him literally at that time.
Jeez.
And then something popped up where I couldn't make a flight, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And it's literally that exact week I was supposed to be in London, so not even close to LA, on tour with him. And then I didn't make it, which I was super bummed about. You know, like, he finally got his big break. You know, I've been with him for a couple years, been training him, seen him build up. Now he's on tour with Maroon 5. I'm super excited. Everybody's super excited. And I was supposed to be out there that week, literally, and couldn't make it. And then, lo and behold, I got that call.
You got this.
Yeah.
First time I saw you were with Ali Saj, and you guys were doing Icepass, who's the CEO of DAMAC.
Yes.
One of the biggest building companies in Dubai.
Which I had no idea about, by the way.
Are we allowed to say that? Are we allowed to mention?
Yeah.
Should be
I'm
okay.
sure. I mean, so, everybody in Dubai, I feel like, kind of knows him.
Yeah. So I'm assuming he's the one from LA that flew you out.
Yeah, he was the one. So yeah, he's the son of the dad that created all this. And you obviously live in Dubai, so you see DAMAC all over the place. Which I was shocked when I first got off the airport, and that's the first thing I'm seeing. Yeah. So I really had no idea. So the routine is, he wakes up 6 a.m, trains for 2 hours with me. Then we immediately go to the ice bath, and he has 2 different ice tanks, which one is a little colder than the other. Oh, no. So he does both. So we mix back and forth from that. And yeah, that's how he starts his day. And then he goes into meetings all day, and he has a chef where making sure his nutrition's on point. So in reality, I'm more of like his health coach rather than just a trainer. It's really like an all day, every day type thing. Making sure his sleep is right, make sure his nutrition's right, his supplementation, body work, like all the things, making sure that he's hitting all aspects of recovery, training, nutrition, rest, everything. That's kind of what I'm doing for him.
You know, something that he comes across as a really humble dude. Yeah. Like, nothing Gucci, nothing this. I'm sure he's got all of it, but he just doesn't wear it. You know, he doesn't really show it off or anything like that. You see these rich guys in Dubai, they got Fendi all over their shirt, FFF, you know what I mean? Everywhere. It's like screaming, it's like a billboard ad for Fendi. Right. You know, but I feel like when you're at that level, you just wear...
And so I have a few clients, very high performing CEOs, and the one thing they all have in common is, one, they all really have it like that.
Yeah.
So two, they don't have to show it off.
Yeah.
You know, a mentor once told me, most people that have to show it off and have all these things are kind of showing you and telling you how much money they have just by what they got on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know that's not always the case, but yeah, he's definitely not like that. You know, wears the same couple gym outfits every day, you know, rocking his Crocs, and he's proud of it. Yeah, super humble dude. You wouldn't even know, you know. I had no idea when he was in LA. Yeah, it's just, which is cool to see, you know, and he gives back. Even with me in our training sessions, like I'm training him, right? But he's also pouring back into me, giving me knowledge, giving me ways on how I could elevate and expand my business, and just giving me different ideas. And he obviously is giving me this opportunity in Dubai, which is a place full of opportunities. So it's a very mutual thing, even in our training session. So I feel like I'm a win-win situation out here. You know what I mean?
I got to give it to the Emirati people. They're just so kind. They're so generous. They're willing to give you everything. You know, in the Western world, it's all about, don't give him all the information, then he can do it. Then here, it's everything's a yes.
Well, in LA, it's very much so like, I want to see you do good, but not better than me type mentality, right? Rather than here, it's like they really got it and they're not concerned. They're not living in this scarcity mindset. So they want to just give and pour into you, and the hospitality is unreal out here, which is such a refreshing experience, especially coming from LA, where it's the opposite.
Yeah. Tell me about living in LA.
So, just like with anything, there's positives and there's negatives. LA, a lot of it is about what you make of it, right? I've met amazing people in LA. Some of my closest friends, brothers, sisters, just like people that are very close to me. But it takes a minute to find that, right? Because LA is a very status-oriented place, you know, very cliquey, very, how should I say, fake, you know, like cool to you in your face, and then, you know, behind your back talking behind, or like, this is best way to put it. LA, when you meet somebody, they measure the amount of respect that they give you based on what you could either do for them or who you are.
How many followers you got? How
many followers you have, or who you know, or like what opportunity that you may be able to give to them. And I've literally seen situations where I've been talking with somebody and they've been kind of unamused by me, or like not really paying me much attention, and literally 5 minutes later see me having a conversation with somebody that they want to, you know, be plugged in with, or whatever the case, and then just completely switch up their energy. So it's a lot of that going on. And it's a mad world in LA. I can't lie. It's fake. It's cutthroat. It's like the Wild West out there.
Really?
Yeah, but you know, like I said, there's positives, there's negatives. The weather's amazing. You know. Like I said, I've met a lot of great people, and you know, I've had a lot of great opportunities out there as well. But it's just different. And LA right now is really relying on their reputation. You know what I mean? But their reputation from 20, 30 years ago. It's just not that anymore.
Really?
No.
What is it now?
So LA back then, and even America in general, is you know, the American dream. Working hard, and then, you know, eventually achieving your goals or whatever they may be. You know, and it's just different now. It's just, you know what it is? In LA, there's a lot of people that come that are not from LA. So then when they get to LA, they feel like they need to act in an LA way. But that's not them being true to themselves. It's not being their genuine selves. 20, 30 years ago, that's what made LA great, was the diversity. People coming from all different areas, sprinkling their culture, their heritage. That's what made LA cool. Right? But now, everybody's coming to LA feeling like they have to act in an LA way, that Hollywood way.
Sure.
And now everybody's kind of acting the same. I call them like Matrix bunnies.
Wow.
You know, the women and the men, they feel like they had to put on this persona and act a certain way, and it's just now everybody's acting the same, and it's like there's no authenticity, there's no genuine relationships.
Yeah. Even if you're on the spectrum of being a higher value person, status-wise, money-wise, I don't think it's still a fun place because everyone's fake.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't know if people are being genuine with you, like really trying to be friends with you, or they're just trying to get something out of you.
Yeah.
So then those people are a little bit more reserved, and rightfully so. And so it's a funny place. But there's positives as well, you know. But I was ready to leave.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, your time there was done.
My time there was done.
Yeah.
I got out of it what I needed, and I was just feeling that my chapter there was done and ready to move on.
I feel like Dubai's LA pre-LA became LA.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly. And I've heard that actually a couple of times.
Have you?
And I feel that energy out here now.
Really?
Yeah, I feel that excitement. I feel the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I just feel people being genuine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Dubai is also like a melting pot, I feel like.
Yeah.
People, I mean, you're from Australia.
Yeah.
Right?
Persian originally.
Yeah. You know, I'm from LA.
Yeah.
You know, half black, half, you know, Latino. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of that around here. And that's what makes a place great. You know, put it this way. In LA, right, my client, the singer Gunner, at a LA concert, when he's jamming, it's a lot of people kind of looking around like almost too cool for school.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of how LA's becoming.
Wow.
You know, not enjoying themselves, like so worried about how they're
being seen rather than living in the moment.
Nobody's really having fun. It's madness. And then I even went on tour with them and went to New York, and it was a whole different vibe. People actually enjoying it, having a good time. Went on tour with them to Nashville, people enjoying it, having a good time. And then he went on tour to Europe with Maroon 5, and he said it was night and day difference.
The best.
Yeah, because, and I've been to Europe, and it's just people actually being present, having fun, and LA's just becoming a place where people are almost like too cool for school to have fun. Wow. It's really weird. Even when you go out, you know, it's everybody just kind of looking around, and, you know, it's just a different vibe.
Sounds dead.
Yeah, it is. It's dead. Like, you know, then you have to really drink a lot to have fun.
Yeah, I hate that.
You know, people doing drugs and stuff just to have fun. It's like, that shouldn't be the case. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
That's weakness of the soul. You know, partying like that is weakness of the soul.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want a coffee?
Yeah, 100%.
What do you get for coffee? What's a personal trainer get for coffee?
In the middle of the day, I typically do an all black.
All black.
Nitro, yeah.
What do you do in the morning?
I'll put a little oat milk in there.
Is there?
Yeah, it'll be a
milk.
hot one. Oh wow, they are on the screen.
Yeah, man. Hey, how are you?
Very good, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We have a celebrity PT here, by the way. Just blessing your day today. Can I get a bottle?
What is that?
you want an iced coffee, like an iced Americano?
Yeah, just an ice black nitro, I believe it's called.
Yes, sir.
Can I get an ice black nitro?
Actually, yeah.
Ice matcha latte.
No.
Ice Americano, venti.
Ice Americano size.
Venti?
You could put a little almond milk in there.
Can you put a little bit of almond milk in there?
Sure, sir. And
A bowl of water.
And bottle of water.
And I'll get a Starbucks double shot hot coffee, grande. Can I get the milk warm so I can drink it now, not hot?
Sure.
Okay.
Grande hot double shot.
Yeah.
With warm milk.
Yeah.
Okay, and
that's it.
That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
One bottle of water.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
59 is the amount.
Thank you. Yeah, man, I'm getting addicted to coffee.
Have you not been?
No, I have been.
Oh yeah, I was like, I've been addicted.
But yeah.
That's like a little trainer's like inside thing. Like,
is it?
Anybody in the gym culture, like, you don't like coffee, I can't trust you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is, like, we trained yesterday, and you could see my stomach acid was killing me.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of my coffee consumption. It's a lot.
Well, for your gut health, you should always have something in your system before you drink coffee.
Yeah.
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 Like
for sure.
some type of food.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you? Hey, how are you?
How you guys doing? What up? What up?
I know the face.
Yeah.
I forget the name, but I know the face.
Yes,
You
sir.
know
What
the
up?
face.
Yeah, you're good.
He just came from LA. LA, yeah.
Yes, sir.
How is you doing?
That's good. Yeah, we're just podcasting. Yeah.
Like nice, can you Starbucks have you guys?
No Starbucks app. I should really get it, but no app. Credit card, please.
So any vlog is going on or any podcast?
Podcast. Yeah, we're doing a podcast. Listen, you can put your water on the side and then keep your coffee in the middle if you want. Did I pay? No. Thank you, sir.
Bro, I'm tripping.
Thank you so much. Bro,
how do you put this thing?
Dig it out of there. No. Bring that up like that. And then,
wow.
Yeah, go like that. There you go. Thank you so much.
My brother. Appreciate you guys. Much love.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
Ciao. Thank you. You like that? Yeah?
Set me up nice there.
Yeah, I did set you up nice there. If you like this video, consider subscribing. We do weekly podcasts with experts in every industry to help you find direction and guide you on your way. Now let's get back into it. You know, something that everybody gets in LA, it's like the pumpkin ice latte.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like a cup full of sugar
Yeah,
by
literally,
now
like
at this stage.
freaking 60 grams of sugar in a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
It's like dessert.
So what's your, it is dessert. What's your opinion been of Dubai so far?
Honestly, I love it.
Yeah.
It's been very good to me. Like I said, the hospitality has been unreal.
Yeah.
Like you have expectations going into a place, but these have far exceeded all expectations. Yeah, I really had no idea it was going to be like this, and I haven't really even explored all that much yet. I feel like I'm just kind of getting my feet underneath me because I'm still waiting for my ID and all those type of things. So once I get that, I know I'll be able to really move around.
Yeah.
We hit the mall yesterday, so I kind of got to explore a little bit.
Yeah.
But just being around the hotel, you know, where I'm staying, and everything's just very convenient, and it's very easy to stay focused on what you have to do. You know, even as far as like the nutrition side of things, having, you know, a chef preparing the food and things like that, you know, it makes me very motivated. It's lit a fire underneath me to like get after it and continue to progress.
I mean, you know, coming from Australia, you coming from LA, how much has our life luxurified, if that's a word, but like our lives have just become so much more luxury.
Yeah, it's,
you know, like having a chef, and
you know, growing up, I always dreamed of these things. I'm not gonna lie, having a chef, having, you know, a gym right where I live, you know, things like that. I've always, I guess in a way, manifest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It came in a different form. I thought maybe me being a pro athlete, you know, would be able to have these things. Yeah. But God has a different plan for us, you know, but it's still a great plan, you know, and I think it's actually even better setup than if I was a pro athlete. I
agree, because you go kick a ball, you hyperextend, you could tear something, what's going to happen tomorrow?
And in the NFL, for example, I think the average career is like 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, wow.
You know, 3 to 4 years. Everybody thinks about, you know, the top quarterbacks, and they see the Tom Brady.
There's that hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, people think about those guys, but it's like
they're minority, they're outliers.
By far. You know, you got to think about the everyday guys. It's like, it's a very cutthroat business. You know, it's a business at the end of the day. It's a numbers. Like, you could be one of the best, but if it doesn't make sense number wise, you're cut. You're off the team, and no feelings, no emotions about it. It's business. Yeah, you know. And I've trained a lot of pro athletes and a lot of NFL guys, especially, and I've got to see kind of behind the scenes now, and now I really understand, like, wow, this is really just business.
And you know the study that shows NFL players after retirement usually have memory loss and this and that. Did that bother you? Did that scare you?
Yeah, it's definitely in the back of your head.
Yeah.
Especially, here's the thing with football. You know, they're making a big thing about concussions now, right? And rightfully so. But there's a lot of concussions that go unannounced, you know, by the player especially, right? So if you're battling for a position, and your job's on the line, and you get rocked, and you have and you know you have a concussion, the odds of you saying something is very slim when you're battling for a position.
Yeah.
I've been there, you know, and when you're in it, it's all that matters is earning that starting spot. You know, it's your life, and that's what the coach is almost like brainwashing you into believing. It's football or nothing else.
Yeah.
So when you're in that position, it's a very interesting one because you'll put your body through the ringer just to get out on the field.
And you won't say nothing.
And not saying anything.
Because you don't want to get replaced.
There's been plenty of times where I've been fully concussed. I'm talking about fully concussed. There's been a time where I've been on the field where I had no idea where I was at. Before the play, I'm asking my teammates, like, what play are we running? Like, where am I at, you know?
Oh, my God.
And
you said nothing.
And said nothing. You know, it's just you get into this, like, warrior kill or be killed mentality.
Yeah.
And it's and a lot of players have a hard time adjusting to that after. You know, because when you're accustomed to, going into real life after that is a very difficult adjustment, you know, for a lot of people, especially when that's how you identify as being a football player.
Yeah.
You know, and so a lot of people have a difficult time transitioning, you know, so that's why I'm thankful that I've had a smooth transition, and truly my passion. I feel like I don't work a day in my life.
Yeah.
You know, it's a grind, it's a hustle, which a lot of people don't see, you know. It's a lot of long hours, a lot of sacrifice. Like, there's been a lot of time into this, but it's never felt like I'm clocking into work.
Yeah. What's your nutrition plan like?
So, as far as nutrition, at the end of the day, research has shown that at the end of the day, it's all about calories in, calories out. And you've probably heard that before.
You told me yesterday.
Yeah. You could do keto diet, you could do carnivore diet, you could do a balanced diet, whatever the case may be, it's all about calories in, calories out. If you want to lose weight, you have to be in somewhat of a deficit. If you want to gain weight, you have to be in somewhat of a surplus. If you want to maintain, you got to be in a maintenance calorie. But I always say there's little hacks of getting to that. So if, you know, eating an animal-based diet is a hack for you to make sure you're within those calories or to be in a deficit, then more power to you, you know, do it. But my favorite thing is just having balance and choosing foods that are going to decrease inflammation rather than increase it, and going to fuel you for your day and your workouts, rather than like saying I can't eat this. You know, it's like, no, I get to eat this because it's going to fuel me for my body. And then one of the rules I always live by is just the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, stick to a good plan that you're on, you know, and then the other 20%, live it up. Like, go have a burger, go have pizza. Like, that's what life's about as well, you know? And that's why, like, you experience my workouts. That's why I train like that, because I do want to go have a pizza. I do want to go have a burger. But in my workout, I just burn a lot of calories, you know, so I earn that. You know, when you train like a bodybuilder, it's a very, very specific way of training. And when you see these bodybuilders that are like giving these plans or sharing, this is how I train, a lot of people don't understand what goes into it to look like that, right? One, extreme discipline in their diet, you know, tracking every calorie, right? Two, a lot of help, you know, with steroids, performance enhancing drugs. Like, there's a lot of that goes into it to make their body look like that. And so a lot of these people see it and like, I want to look like that. But no matter if you're as strict as you can be, it's just not attainable because you're not running steroids. Most people don't want to, you know, run steroids. I'm not saying all bodybuilders are, but, and I'm not saying that's what they're selling or anything like that, but I'm just saying as far as that training style, you have to be very specific to look a certain way. But when you're focused more on performing and burning calories in your workout, it kind of leaves you more room to enjoy foods, you know, and not be so strict and track every calorie. And yeah, so that's kind of how I look at it.
You know, I was going to talk about that actually. I train every day.
Yeah.
And, you know, I train hard.
Yeah.
You know, I've been with some PT sessions where I just didn't want to go back because they didn't train me as hard as I train myself. I got destroyed yesterday. When I mean I got destroyed yesterday, remember I went to the sink?
Yeah.
And you're calling me saying you got one more,
Yeah.
and I'm walking to the sink just in case if it's coming.
Right.
It doesn't come on the floor.
Right.
And
especially in a nice gym like that, right?
Beautiful gym. And you know, the exercises that you put me through, they weren't even exercises that I haven't seen before.
Right.
I've seen it before.
Right.
But the way that you had structured it and put it together in terms of how much break I can have between that exercise and that exercise, it almost pinpointed something in my body where it was just the most intense thing. And afterwards when we got lunch, I said to you, isn't that not good for your heart?
Right.
And you said, it's good for your heart.
Yeah. Right.
And he said, look, we don't live there. Obviously, too much of anything is not good.
Right, exactly.
You know? But it's good for your heart.
Yeah, because your heart's a muscle, right? So you got to work it. And you brought up a good point. Like I said, I'm not reinventing the wheel on the workouts. I didn't give you any workouts where you're like, I've never done this before. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just the way I'm stringing these workouts together and the intensity that we're working at.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of trainers go wrong, that I see, is they're more concerned about almost acting as babysitters to their clients because they're afraid that they may lose them if they push them too hard, or they're just not interested, rather than like, no, you're gonna get a good workout here. This is gonna be better for you. You might hate me during the session, but you will love me after. And that's why all my clients always stay with me. My retention rate is very, very high. You know, I can't even think anybody on the top of my head that's left saying that, you know, it wasn't a good job. And that's just being 100% honest. I'm not reinventing the workouts, but everything that we're going to do, we're going to work in an intense, you know, fashion. I can make you do pull-ups and push-ups, but if you do it intensely with low rest, it's going to be a tough workout, right?
I mean, I'm not surprised you haven't had any clients leave you. I mean, you look at someone like Ali Saj, who the CEO of the Mac. He has the top trainers of the world. That is, you know, accessibility. He's got access to all the top trainers of the world.
Right.
And he's chosen you. You know, he did one session with you. Did 1 month's worth of sessions with you, and he said, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to fly you out to Dubai. You're gonna come with me."
Right.
You know, so the level of intensity I haven't experienced before either.
Yeah.
So,
but you did a very good job, though. Trust me.
You're
like,
just saying that.
No, honestly, a lot of people would have just been like, "Hey, let's try again next time." You know, you didn't know what to expect. So the fact that you finished, you got through it. And you're an interesting character because you had a smile on your face the entire time, which I was just like not understanding. I'm like, is this workout hard? Is it not hard? You know, until you start making your way over to the sink, I'm like, okay, this is tough. This is hard. Yeah.
I kept telling you. I kept telling you I can't do more. And you know, when you were getting me on the sled, I wasn't giving it my 100 because you've always got something up your sleeve at the end of it.
Right.
You know? And I'm like, oh, okay, I can see your style now. I'm gonna keep some energy in the bank just in case. And then you're like, no, go hard. So I went hard.
That's the cool thing about that treadmill too. It tracks your numbers, so we know like how hard you're going.
Exactly.
Right?
But I'm gonna do it again. If you give me a week, let me fully recover, and I'm gonna impress you. I'm gonna impress because you went what 4 out of 10 hard on me yesterday. 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I would say 4 or 5.
Because you said 5, and you said I'm being generous with 5, so it's probably a 4.
Yeah, a 4.
Right?
Just as far as the volume. You know, the intensity was high for sure, but just the workload was like a 4 or 5 out of 10.
Because there's some that you cut out. There's one exercise that I had to do 20, you cut it down to 10.
Just the reps, the blocks that we did. But you know, rightfully so. It was your first session. You know,
I'm excited for people that watch this podcast to call you and to do this so they can see exactly.
The cool thing about it is too is, you know, I'm in person, right? But I, you know, only because I act more as a health coach, I have to put a lot of time into these clients, right? So the people that can't work with me in person, you know, whether they're not in Dubai or they're back in the States or whatever, they can always work with me as a, you know, online client and get the exact same program that people are getting, a fully customized nutrition plan for them, you know, because a lot of these online trainers are giving the same cookie cutter programs to these clients. So the same program that I'm giving X over here, I'm giving Y. But they're 2 different body types, 2 different goals, but they're just giving them the same workout plan. And most of the time the same nutrition plan, which none of us should be on the exact same nutrition plan, right? So this is all fully customized for each individual based on whatever their goals are, whether it's to, you know, put on muscle, lose weight, maintain, increase their performance, you know. And the one thing I feel like that separates me as far as on the online space is I do this at a very high level. You know, I've trained top athletes. I've trained high performing CEOs. You know, I've been a high level athlete. So not only do I have the knowledge, but I have the ability to put that out, you know, and I have the platform to be able to, you know, provide those programs for people.
And where can people find that program?
So I have my own app and website. It's called Train for Life Nation. So you could go to my Instagram. It's Zach Wade Fit. Go to the link in the bio, and if you're interested, you know, to really taking your fitness and health to the next level, let's work. You know.
I'm sure a lot of ladies are gonna be hitting up that Instagram.
Yeah. Ladies, honestly, it's crazy. I was giving it some thought with my team, and we were like, let's really dial in who's your exact demographic of people that like to work with you. And it came to find out that it was high performing CEOs and women.
Wow.
Women of all ages. And it's a crazy thing, but it's like the same way I'm training like a high level athlete.
Yeah.
You know, with some modifications, I'm training some of the models that I trained almost in the exact same way. Yeah. And they respond so well to it because if you think about it, you know, we're working in the exact same muscles. Like for a football player, you got to have strong glutes, strong legs. What do most girls want to build up? That butt and the legs. So it's like, it's interchangeable.
Yeah, your legs are crazy. Your legs are crazy. You got horse legs.
I appreciate it, brother. A lot of hard work.
Yeah. I actually, you know, I own gyms in Australia. We've had this conversation. And I once went to the gym and I saw this one girl and I just couldn't train. I just had to watch her. She looked like she was a gladiator. She could beat me in a fight.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many women that could beat me in a fight. And I looked at her and she was not stopping. She wasn't stopping. There was no rest break.
Yeah.
She was going there doing burpees. After that, she was going there doing squats. And after that, she had the whole gym to herself, just doing everything.
Yeah.
And I just watched her.
Yeah.
I didn't even, and I actually wanted to go up to her and say, hi, and I'm the owner, you know, it's so nice to watch you train because like, Jesus, you clearly know what you're doing.
Right.
But she was just such a machine that as soon as she was done, she just went and picked up the towel and left. And
now, to your point, so, you know, I was in LA, which is like, you know, fitness influencer central, you know. And I must say, out of all the people I've, you know, collabed with, worked with, the women train way harder than the guys. Like, I'll go do a workout with a guy, like, hey, let's go do this workout. And I'm like, you were portraying yourself way different online. Like, this is your workouts, you know? Yeah. But with the women, it's like, no, they're ready to get after it, you know, and they love the work. It's an interesting thing.
Why is that? Because with my ex, in my previous relationship, when we would do an exercise together, she would always beat me. Yeah. And my excuse was, because I'm bigger, I've got bigger bones and I've got more muscle, so it takes more energy for me to do any exercise that you're doing. Right. Is that why, or was I just stroking my ego?
Yeah, I think stroking your ego a bit. I think women just, at the end of the day, have a stronger why of why they're working out. Yeah. Whether it's to build confidence, you know, through their body. Maybe they had some issues, you know, growing up as far as body images or whatever the case may be, or any insecurities that they may have. Whatever the case may be, I just feel like what I've observed, a lot of women's why is just very strong. So when it comes to working out, they're very intense, they're very intentional, and they love the work, honestly.
You know, when you watch Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, you know, and he in 3 weeks gets jacked and ripped like that. Yeah. What's the secret to that?
Well, first and foremost, they're on some of the best drugs that you could take.
Okay, so it's roids.
Yeah,
it's tests.
Roids, tests. They got the best doctors putting them on all the right stuff. But I don't want to take anything away from them because they're on a super strict regimen as well. Okay. Right? Training probably twice a day, super strict nutrition plan. But they're just getting ready for that role and they just have to do that for 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah. That's not sustainable. So if you're trying to, you know, look like that, that's going to take time. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people get that or feel like a lot of people confuse that, you know, and thinking that, oh, I could get like that. And I see sometimes like train like, who's the guy from Thor? Chris
Hemsworth.
Yeah, like I saw a program he came out with, like, look like me in like 4 weeks. It's like, bro, that's not realistic. Like that, you know, and I get it. They're trying, you know, sell something, but it's not sustainable to be on that strict of a nutrition plan. Most people don't have the time to train twice a day. Yeah. And we kind of spoke on this yesterday. Anything that happens super fast typically ends super fast. Yeah. So when it comes to health and fitness and your journey, slow and steady wins the race. So don't think you're going to get in this crazy type of shape in 3 to 4 weeks. You know, take a step back and think of this as a lifestyle change rather than like a get super ripped and shredded quick type thing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
If you like this video, consider subscribing. We do weekly podcasts with experts in every industry to help you find direction and guide you on your way. Now let's get back into it. You know, when I see some of my trainers at my gyms in Australia, they basically, you know, they use their time to make money, and they work with one-on-one clients. You've been able to crack that code in terms of not having to, you know, trade your time for money, but be able to scale. Right. How have you done that?
So that's a loaded question. But first things first, where I see a lot of trainers go wrong is one, invest in yourself. And what I mean by that is make sure that you are looking and presenting the part. There's so many trainers that I see out there that are not in the type of shape that they need to be because they're sacrificing, you know, maybe training 2 or 3 more clients instead of getting their own workout in, right? You're a walking advertisement as a trainer. So if you're not in tip-top shape, if you're not living that life, then a lot of people aren't going to want to work with you. And 2, and you've kind of touched on it, is the passion of how you train. You know, I go into gyms and I see these trainers and you could tell they're just trying to like get through the day. And I get it, they're in the gym long hours and that could be taxing, right? So I see them losing the passion. And I say all that to say, because in the beginning, I had to really grind, right? But I did things that others wouldn't, so I could accomplish what others don't. So I was driving to LA from Orange County, which is like an hour and a half. I would drive an hour and a half to these clients, train them, and then come back, sit in traffic 3 hours sometimes just to come back home, and honestly probably even lose money, but knowing that training these clients was going to trampoline me and I could use them to create my online business and scale it, right? So a lot of trainers don't want to sacrifice. My mentor says it's best, people trip over dollars to get to nickels, right? And that's where a lot of trainers, they go for that instant, like, oh, this is a $50 session, rather than I would sacrifice, like, no, the one thing I knew for 100% sure, I didn't want to be a trainer that was in the gym 6-8 hours out of the day. So I made a lot of sacrifices. I train big influencers sometimes for free, just knowing what my mentor calls the halo effect, what it can do to trampoline me, you know, give me credibility, give me other clients, you know. And that's where I feel like a lot of people go wrong. They see it so kind of tunnel vision rather than taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture. So for a trainer, you know, you don't want to be in the gym 6-8 hours a day. You got to take a step back, like, how am I going to get there? You know what I mean? So I made a lot of sacrifices at the moment. Like I said, driving to LA, training these big influencers sometimes for free when I was first starting out, knowing that I could trampoline them or use them to trampoline myself, get instant credibility, and it just kind of snowballed and dominoed from there, and you kind of build up and you know, using your online platform as well, right? And you don't have to have hundreds and thousands of followers. I think that's a big misconception, especially in the trainer field. You don't have to be some big fitness influencer to scale your business. You just have to be authentic and true and genuine. And that's what people believe in, right? Because I see nowadays on social media especially, there's a lot of things that may go viral, but aren't the right things, right? So like, let's say, for example, I see these fitness influencers and I saw something go viral about how they couldn't stand being at the gym, you know, but it went viral because a lot of people could relate to that. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily the right things to relate to, right? Like a client, let's say like Ollie here, do you think he would want to work with a trainer that's acting like he doesn't want to be in the gym and kind of complaining about it? No, but a lot of people feel like how that person was feeling and could relate, but that's not what you want to put out if you're trying to really elevate, because that's short-lived. You know, if you want long-term success, you got to be your genuine true self and not be so concerned about the likes and, you know, that type of validation. But because I look at social media, Instagram, almost like a resume. You know, when you go onto my page, you know I'm about my business, I'm serious about what I do, and you could respect that and trust that. So yeah, there's
No, I 100% agree with you. I mean, you know, you got to do things that don't make money,
right?
That will lead to money at the end.
Exactly.
Right. People always want to do things for instant gratification, financial gratification.
Exactly.
So, I 100% agree with that, and it's you know, worked for me.
Yeah, and you have to sacrifice. Like my schedule for a short amount of time, and you know, I wasn't going to go too far into this, but the most difficult thing by far that I've been through, and I, you know, sometimes have a difficult time, you know, speaking on this, but was just recently I lost my mom. Just last year, actually. She was battling brain cancer. She battled for 3 years. And she was my best friend. She was my favorite person on this earth. She was my everything, you know, my cheerleader, my mom, my best friend. She gave me confidence. She gave me hope. She gave me comfort. So when I lost her, a lot of that went away. And just seeing somebody battle something so difficult that you love so much is by far one of the most difficult, is the most difficult thing. But with that, there was a lot of medicine in that pain. Meaning, when you go through something like that, and it's all relative because everybody's battling something, everybody's been through something difficult, right? You have two options. You could face it, and it's going to be very difficult, and get a lot of medicine from it, meaning you learn a lot from it. For example, like seeing my mom battle that, yet remain so positive and so loving, was the most inspirational and motivational thing that I could ever witness, right? And it changed me for the better. Or the second option is you could run away from it, which a lot of people do, numb it, you know, with substances like alcohol, drugs. But the thing about that option, at some point you have to face it, but when you do eventually face it, it comes back with interest. And it's even a lot more difficult. So, although that was the most difficult time of my life by far, it was also one of the most life-changing moments. It changed the lens, it changed the way how I look at life, and I just learned so much from it. Like I said, she battled she battled so tough, she battled so strong, but with so much positivity, so much love. You know, she was the one that all the nurses loved in the hospital. There was a time within a 2 or 3 month span where she had 4 or 5 different brain surgeries.
Wow.
And after every surgery, she was still smiling, still asking about you. So when you witness that and you're in that, you have no other choice but to be loving and positive, or at least attempt to be. You know, so that's why after going through that, there's nothing in life that could get thrown at me where I'm gonna waver, you know, because that was the most difficult thing. And yeah, it just changes your whole lens out and outlook on life. And it's definitely made me a better version. I always tell people I'll never be the same, but I'm a lot better version of myself. And I think a lot of these things that are happening for me now is I honestly think her pulling some strings up there.
I think so.
Because that was a big thing for her. She always said, Zach, like, I really want you to see the world. I really want you to travel. Because I never would. I would always be like, no, I got this, you know, practice, or I got this camp, or I got to train. And so I never got to do those things. But she's like, I want you to really travel. I want you to see the world. Yeah. And lo and behold, I'm across the country with an amazing opportunity. But it was the lessons that I learned during that time that has really elevated me into the individual I am today. And that's what I hope to give back to people. You know, you asked me, how do you kind of get in the position I am and scale as being a trainer? At the end of the day, it's about not worrying about dollars and cents. It's about being 100% passionate and genuine into your craft, and really have the main thing be the main thing, which is giving back to people. You know, the most rewarding thing is putting somebody through my workouts and seeing the confidence that they get from the workouts, you know, the change, the energy, and now they could go become better individuals for whoever they have an impact on. So when you have that be your focus point, everything else will come. Yeah. You know, and that's one thing, for whatever reason, I've never really worried about the money. That's one thing I could always say. For my whole time, I never was too concerned about the money. I knew my genuine interest was to make people better. And I was passionate. This is what God put me on this earth to do. This was just a tool that I get to do. And the cool thing about training somebody is it's a very intimate thing, right? Like I always tell people, honestly, the least of my concern is how you look. And sometimes people get all like, wait, what? Like, I think that's the main thing. It's like, no. I care about how you're performing, how you're feeling, how you are mentally, right? Because you could attest to this. That workout was a mental challenge.
Massive.
As well as a physical challenge, right? Yeah. And you probably even had to dig deep into your soul, into your spirit to get through that workout. Yeah. So now we're hitting 3 different things in an hour and a half.
I would compare it to nearly dying, because when you nearly die, then you know, I met a guy, he said to me, my life changed when somebody held a gun to my head. So that's what I felt. He didn't have a gun to my head, but when I was like, damn, I'm that tough, I survived that. Because when you made me do those wall sits, I would fall on the floor and roll over and try to get up. Right. I wouldn't be able to get up. Right. But for me, I was like, damn, I'm really pushing it to the edge.
And your body could always go a lot further than what your mind is telling it, right? Wow. So what and this is what I've noticed about, you know, a lot of my high performing CEO clients. It's like they always say, my workout with you is the hardest part of my day, right? But they do that intentionally to stress their body, to prime themselves for the rest of the day. Whatever gets thrown at them, they're going to be able to handle, because they've already been through something very difficult today. Yeah. And they got past it and got through it and overcame. Yeah. And you're learning little things like one thing I kept on reminding you, control your breath. Control your breath. That's the one thing you're always in control of. Yeah. So now when you're gone to your business meetings and things are getting thrown at you and you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling stressed, the one thing you can always go back to is controlling your breath. Yeah. Because you just did that this morning, right? So when I'm training people, it's a lot deeper. But I also say the cherry on top is that you're going to look great after this. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's the cherry on top. Don't get it twisted. Like, you're still going to look great. But that's just kind of like the byproduct of everything else that I'm focused on. And I think that's where a lot of trainers, you know, get it confused as well. They're so focused just on the aesthetic. And the aesthetic is, it's very hard to see results daily, right? Like, that comes with time. But one thing you can see results daily is how you're feeling, how you're performing, where you're mentally at, you know. You could see that daily. Yeah. So I like to focus on those things.
You know, like training with you yesterday is as if I trained for the first time. I've never experienced something like that before, and it's almost made me a little bit addicted to the pain, to the trauma. It's weird. Yeah, it's I'm a weird sicko like that a little bit.
That's called getting the bug.
Yeah, exactly. But look, going back to, you know, the hardest thing you went through, I think I know you well enough now to know you would never walk away from it. You'd never run away from it. I think you've got the strength of going through everything you did, and that's testament to how your mum raised you and how your dad raised you. And You know, you give me like real soldier vibes. You know, like you're just not scared of anything. You go through it, and you've been through hell.
Yeah.
What can hurt you now?
Yeah.
You know, any external factor that could affect you in life doesn't mean anything to you right now. You're just thinking, man, I've been to hell. What are you gonna do to me?
Right. 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's a dangerous man.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous man.
Yeah. I never really even thought about it that way, but yeah, that's very, very true. It's a freedom to it.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and actually, it's funny that you brought that up because one of my mentors told me when I was going through this, it's crazy, and I'm kind of going a little off here, but I have a mentor, and he's one of my closest. He's like a big brother to me. And this is how I know God is real, and this is how I know everything's planned. Because this mentor of mine went through the exact same thing that I was going through with his mom.
Wow.
And his mom had the exact same cancer as my mom had. And we were the exact same age of when it happened.
Wow.
So I had him to guide me through this. And he told me, look, I went the other way. And trust me when I tell you, that's not the way you want to go. You need to go down this way. It's going to be difficult. But trust me, it's going to be a lot more difficult if you go down the other route.
You wouldn't have gone the other route anyways, even if you had someone to tell you.
I don't think so.
No.
But I could definitely see how people go down that route.
Yeah.
Because the pain is that difficult.
It's difficult.
You know, and it made me have more empathy for people that do go down that route. And that's why I feel like part of my missions, the reasons why I'm on this earth, is to share that experience. And just like my mentor told me, like, trust me, this route that I went down is a lot better route than going down the other route.
For sure.
Yeah.
You're a gentleman.
Yeah.
You're very strong, and I'm so glad that I can call you one of my mates.
My brother.
One of my friends.
Yes, sir.
In Australia, we say
Yeah,
mates.
mate. Yeah. I love it.
We like to finish off every podcast asking our guests the same question.
Yeah.
If you could have a dinner party with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be and why? Dinner party. So the question is more to see who is your inspiration. Who's your influence?
Okay. Does Jesus count?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do Jesus.
Yeah.
I see that on your watch.
Yeah.
You know?
Jesus first and foremost.
Yeah.
But as far as people, it's weird. Like some of the most inspirational people that have been in my life, I've already, like Conor, McGregor. I already got to chop it up with him, and just the most. I don't know. I don't really have anybody specific. The people in my life are really inspirational and motivational to me are like my mentors. Yeah. And honestly, I tell people all the time, I would not trade it for billions and billions of dollars. Like my circle that I have, my group of mentors, it's everything to me. So if I could have a dinner, it would be with them, you know? And in addition, bring my mom, bring Jesus, you know?
Yeah.
And, yeah, that'd be a perfect dinner for me.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks for podcasting with us.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for the smooth ride, man. This is a once in a lifetime type thing. Podcasting and then Maybach.
You know, it's different with me and you because we're friends. So it's just like me and you are just kicking it right now.
Yeah, I forgot the camera was even rolling. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Much love.
Thank you.